Hey everybody, Cynics here, and I'm back to do some live commentary on episode 6 of my Painting Faces series. So in this episode, I'm going to be doing this face right down here in the bottom right corner, just to kind of keep things in a continuous flow. Kind of like there's some horrible plague of colors sweeping across the land. Sort of like that Tobey Maguire movie, Spider-Man. No, but yeah, so I'm gonna work from light to dark, and since this is live, I'm gonna try to do this really fast, and I'm gonna show you my technique for kind of doing a fast coloring job on a skin tone and stuff like that. So it's gonna be like a simple kind of cel-shaded style, but I'm gonna try to make it look slightly more painterly just by doing a couple simple tricks. But first, of course, I have to put in my base tone. And the less colors you're using, the more important it's going to be that you pick some good colors for this stuff. So, let me see. I think for my second color, since it's mainly going to be two tones, I was thinking about going like over here. Like that might be a good shadow tone. See, that kind of looks nice. But I think I might actually go way crazy and try doing something way over here. It's kind of more interesting. I don't know if that'll work or not, but it's certainly something. So let's try it and see how it goes. So I'm just going to kind of block in a general lighting scheme for my figure here. I'm decided that I'm just going to do the lighting kind of coming down from the top left. So nice shadows here. Obviously there's all this hair, so you can kind of do some shadows on the neck. Shadow on the front of the shoulder here. And of course the face is the most important part, so I'm going to get that shadow on the nose, and I'm just going to put this whole side of the face in shadow. So while I do this, sorry if I don't talk incessantly, but it is one of the bad side effects of doing live commentary. There we go. Maybe bring this back out a little. Oops. I think my tablet's slightly tilted, so I'm kind of getting some weird strokes going on. But that's okay. It's no big deal. That looks about right, I would say. That keeps this side of the face in shadow. Gotta do some stuff in the ear. Leave a little bit of highlight to show that piece of ear coming in. Definitely you want to do some shadows around the hair, on the hairline, stuff like that. Let's see what else we got. Oh, definitely place a drop shadow coming straight off the hair to kind of falling across the face right there. Oops, I could actually put in a little bit of highlight there too. It kind of makes it look interesting. This little, don't forget that little strand of hair having a shadow. And that's looking about right. I think I'm going to put some shadow on the inside of the eye just to kind of really... There we go. Okay, so I think I am done with my shadow map. And I'm going to go in, and by the way, I've just been using a hard brush for this stuff just to block in my general colors. But I'm going to go back with my favorite thick and thin pen. And yeah, people have mentioned that they have trouble finding it or stuff like that. I think any flat brush, you can see the brush shape is like a flat stroke, and it's set to opacity pressure. So I think any brush that's basically simplified, take away all the other fix-ins and mix-ins, and you should get something pretty similar. So I'm just going to kind of soften up some of these highlights a little bit, just to kind of give it a slightly more painterly feel, get rid of some of that harshness of the cel-shaded look. Definitely on the eye and stuff. But actually, this part's kind of okay, so I don't really care that much. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring in a lot of different colors. So let me go back to my base tone. I'm going to bring in some redness on the skin. So I selected my base tone. I'm just going to work over toward a red color, and I'm going to bring this out, maybe a little slightly darker, definitely more saturated. It's still kind of orangish, or it might look orangish if you just look at the triangle, but compared to the tone we already have, you can see it looks a lot pinker and kind of reddish, and it's a good tone. So we just put some on the shoulder, basically anywhere where you might have that kind of burnt sun damagey look, stuff like that. So let's see, on the shoulder, and probably just across the middle area of the face, like the cheeks and whatnot. Get that nice blush, and definitely on the nose you always get that redness, sunburned look. So already that added a lot of character to the piece. Just by doing a few simple strokes with this more painterly brush, it added a lot more. It took away a lot of that harshness that it just had with the cel shaded. I actually want to bring in some more darkness in the reds, I think. Maybe on the nose. Or maybe not that dark, but something in around there. It's close enough, I'd say. Kind of missing some of this stuff right there. Bringing a little more darkness on the cheek. Kind of spread it out a bit. I'm just picking colors that are like around the edge where the brush wasn't pressed as hard, and kind of using those to buffer my colors around. And that kind of creates the proper buffering that I need. Just try to connect these areas. Okay, so that looks okay. Kind of has a nice sun damagey look to it. Let's see. Actually, I think I'll make the ear a bit more red too. Just pop in some red on the ear. Actually, I want to bring in some more shadow too. There we go. Okay, back to the red. Okay, that's about right. Now, next thing, I think... Ooh, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna just go back to my base tone and actually give a nice little specular highlight, like on the shoulder area. And this will just kind of... It makes the red kind of jump out more, kind of creates a little bit of some contrast. Actually, let me raise this up. I'll even go lighter than my base tone. A little tiny dot. There you go. Wait. There you go. I'm being very picky about it. But yeah, it kind of adds a nice little kind of highlight, makes it real focal and nice. So maybe I'll do a little bit for the nose. Oh, that's a bit too strong actually. I don't know if I like that actually. Let me just try to get that nostril and a little bit. I don't know how I feel about that actually. Maybe just even a softer one. Ooh. A little bit on the cheek, maybe. Maybe a lot lighter on the cheek, just like a little hint of that. Okay, so now I've created kind of some specular highlights, and that's working pretty good. I'm actually going to bring a little bit of redness to the forehead too. Just see, it's kind of funny, like I'm starting with this cel shaded thing, but the more I kind of noodle around with it, the more kind of painterly it starts to look, and all of a sudden I'm not doing my cel shaded thing, and I'm taking too much time, so let me just kind of zoom in, or zoom up a bit. I want to bring in a little bit of eye makeup around here, so let me just go to a colder color. I'm going to desaturate to make it look colder, because I kind of want like something grayish, maybe darker than that. Yeah, I mean, it's not much, but it's better than nothing. I'm going to do the same thing way over here on the other side. So I selected this base color instead, and just bringing it colder, a little more desaturated. Oops, a little more. And there we go, that works. Now, if I want to really add more to these shadows instead of that plainness, I could actually take this base color and just desaturate it a bit, I would say. Yeah, let's just desaturate. Actually, I'm going to change the color too, make it go slightly more toward the warm stuff. And bring it up a bit. And how's that? Yeah, that'll do. So I'm kind of bringing in like a lot of secondary lighting along this side. That's just going to kind of give it more depth. Ooh, 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 ooh. And there we go. So now there's like multiple layers on the darkness, and there's multiple layers on the lightness. Multiple layers of color, that is. Oh, I forgot to do the lip area. That's good. So I'm just gonna block this out because it's kind of a dark tone. Gonna come back in with my redness, probably way down here. I'm just kind of eyeballing this one. And we'll try it out, see how it looks. And that's okay, I'd say. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, so gonna bring in a lightness. And then obviously lip areas get some highlights because they have more moisture than the rest of the skin. So that's why you get those kind of bright speculars on lips and things. Trying to blend these just a little bit. Actually, it was probably okay. Let's see. I'll do a little bit for the teeth. I think I'll just bring in my base tone, desaturate it a little bit. And let me get a small brush. I don't know if that's small enough. Oops. There we go. Just a little hint of teeth. And that's probably all that needs. So my skin tones are coming along fine. This looks pretty standard, pretty decent. I think the skin tone itself, like this is a pretty fast and loose skin tone, and I'd say this was pretty much done for this simple style. I'm gonna go in on a above layer though, just to kind of noodle around with the hair a bit, add some more at least color or something to it, because it's very kind of plain. That might be too much. Somewhere in here. Kind of want it to look kind of wavy in the back and kind of fun, loose. Oops. So, obviously they'll be getting more light way back here because the sun's kind of coming from there, and I'll probably be getting some sun right across there. Maybe since this hair is folding up, I'll get it a little bit in there, and that looks about right. I'm gonna bring out this blueness a little bit because it's a little strong. There we go. Actually, let me go back to my underlayer and do that. Alright, so that is about done. Let me see what else I can add on my top layer. I should have paid attention to the time because I'm not sure if I'm running over, but let's just have a little bit of fun with it. A little more lightness, a little bit of stuff back here maybe. And what else can I add? How about a nice little flower here, because it kind of looks like her hair's done up a bit. So let's just pick a color that'll look like leafy. There we go, that'll look good. And I'm just kind of doing this in a more painterly style, and this kind of brings the whole thing up to a more painterly style. And let's see, what do I need? A little kind of thing in the middle. Maybe even more saturation. And there we go. I would say this piece is done. So let's just call it there, and hopefully this episode isn't super long. And I'll probably do this face next, but who knows? We'll find out in the next episode. So thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful, just kind of making simple faces and doing it fast and all that good stuff.